All right, welcome back to the Ron Eli podcast. My man Ron.
What's going on, y'all?
Yes, sir. I'm Eli, of course. Today's video, we're going to be really discussing about mental health for both professional athletes and young men in general. Just a little disclaimer for the 4th of July video. We had technical difficulties for it.
Yeah, we're going to call it technical difficulties. That's what we're going to call it. Technical difficulties.
We had the film, but the audio was just messed up. So we're just going to leave it at that. So we'll make up for it short time. But like I said, today's video we're really going to be discussing like mental health, and not only how it plays out for professional athletes, but for young men just like us. Because, at the end of the day, everybody has their own way of coping with it, how they deal with it, and how they really suffer from it. So
Exactly.
To start it off, how are you doing, Mr. Robinson?
Man, I'm doing good, man. It feels good outside today. Today's a good day. Feels great, man. Unfortunately, pretty soon I gotta go back to school.
Yeah.
Back to college, bro. You know how that can be sometimes. Stressful exams and tests and stuff. But, I'm doing good overall, man. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. As you guys may or may not know, I actually put my name into the transfer portal. I'll make a separate video on that, explaining how it went down. But for me, I'm currently, I guess you could say it's really like a gap year. Yeah. So I do attend on planning to go back to school. So like I said, it's just kind of like a gap year. But so we'll see how that really plays out in January. And yeah, but so to really get into it, we may say like, how are you doing and stuff like that. But I feel like us as young men, we don't really truly have a good way of explaining ourselves or expressing ourselves. Because at the end of the day, I think we both can understand, or we both agree that we grew up in that household where like we had those father figures where it's like men don't cry.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like you get hit, you hit back, you get up, you wipe off the dirt and all that. So how do you feel about that? And when you have your own kids, do you plan on having a similar lifestyle like that? Or like what is your goal for that when you have your own kids?
Yeah, so I'm glad that right now, like I feel like society right now is kind of shifting. Like we're starting to try to get better where therapy is more acceptable now. You see more and more like athletes and people coming out saying, they go to therapy and stuff like that. But like in terms of like, I feel like that's where like everything went wrong, because like men, we're grown up to like, we don't show emotion. We don't cry. Like we can't show certain emotions. And what happens when we get older, now we don't know how to express those emotions.
Exactly.
So it's like, it's like, I don't know, it's just like, I don't really know, but off of experience, I feel like my father, he done a pretty solid job. I feel like if not like trying to make the, you don't cry, you shouldn't do this. Like he sometimes like, how you feeling, man? Like, you doing all right and stuff like that. So, but like for my kids and stuff like that, nah, like I'm gonna like make sure they're always good and stuff. Like you can always come to me, tell me what's wrong and stuff like that. I'll give them advice and stuff like that. Like I want like my son, if I have a son in the future, to be able to like express those emotions and be able to like feel okay expressing his emotions and stuff, because men are scared. Because they don't want to be judged. They don't want to like be made fun of, I guess. So like that's just my viewpoint of it. I mean, so what about you, man?
Yeah, for me, I'll be the first one to say, my dad was a great father. In no way am I disrespecting him, but he was the type where it was kind of like, men don't cry. But that's not, and I'm not here to say like my dad was the only one and other dads were like, oh no, every I guarantee everybody that we know of, especially in the group chat, their father was the same way, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
It was because that's how our fathers grew up with their fathers.
Exactly.
So for me, when I started playing football at a young age, for me, I can say like the true reason why I wanted to play football was to impress my dad, to show him like, hey, I'm tough.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is when you're, like double the size of everybody at your age, you got to play with older kids. So for me, I can say it was kind of like tougher because not only was I playing a sport that I kind of liked, I like watching football.
Yeah.
But to play and stuff like that, that's a different story. But for me, you know, I feel like it was a lot more difficult because I was playing with kids that was like twice that was like, if not like 3 years older than me, and that was bigger than me. Like some of the times, like, even though I was bigger than kids my age and I had to play with the older group, I was still like the little one, but at the same time big, just because, you know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, for me, I would love to have a son, and I will always put him first, whether it's like, you know, if he wants to play football, whether he wants to play tennis, golf. And I think that's another thing that we have to understand, that not every kid wants to go to the NFL.
Exactly.
Nor does every kid want to be a rapper, you know, that type of stuff. So for me, I would rather him want to explore other things besides football. And I always, one thing that I would greatly stress to him is like, do not do anything that makes you unhappy. And I think that's one of the big things that that needs to be stressed out to kids. Because for me, I'm not gonna lie, my high school journey was like, when the main goal was, I didn't want my parents to pay for college. I didn't want that, because it was like, they tell, you know, college is expensive.
It is. It is.
Just
low-key a scam, I ain't gonna lie to you.
But yeah, so it was, for me, it was like, if I don't get a scholarship, a full ride, then I failed. And that's why I felt my time at DeMatha and even at NCAA, it's like, if I don't get it done, I failed them.
Yeah,
so
exactly, yep.
I don't want them to be like, if I don't get this scholarship for playing football or the sport, that they failed me. I don't want them to feel like that, because that's how I felt. You know, even though my parents would be the first ones to be like, you know, if you don't want to play, you don't got to play. But there's always that voice in your head that we don't really like talking about. So, it's like, you know, you want your kids to play sports, you want your kids to do what you did, you know, but be better at it. But at the same time, we also, when the day that we become fathers, we also got to understand that our kid may do the complete opposite of what we did or want them to do.
Yep, exactly. I feel like, I wouldn't say every parent, but like, I feel like some parents, they already kind of have an image of like what they want their child to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have a certain vision for what they want their child to be. And so, and then, like, most of the time, it's, you see people like, this isn't what I want to do. You know what I mean? Especially we're at that age where we're trying to figure out, what do we want to do? So it's like, you know, people, you know, they switch their majors, or they stop school, or whatever they're doing, want to work. It's kind of like right now, we're trying to figure it out right now. You know, and I feel like society is like making it like, oh, you know, you do your 4 years in high school, then you go to college, you get your degree and stuff, like, and people don't want to do that. Yeah. And I like how, like, the society's now moving towards, like, you see more people, like, maybe doing Twitch streaming, and content creating, podcasts like this and stuff like that, and they make it into a career, and it's something that they genuinely like to do. And it's like, I couldn't imagine telling my mom, oh, I'm dropping out of college to be a YouTuber full time. I just can't. I can't do that.
I can't either.
Like, and I'm not saying I want to drop out of school or nothing, but I'm just saying, like, this is a passion. I wouldn't, like, mind doing this as a career. But, you know, as of right now, I can't just drop school and fully put my time into this because of how she's going to react. Yeah.
So, I agree with you, because I can't, like I said, I can only imagine what my mom would say. Like, even though I know in the end she would support me.
Yeah, she would support you. That's my mom's would.
Exactly. So, but it's like, I also agree with you with your other point. We brought up, like, society has come to the point where, like, you have to do the 4 years. If you don't go to college, you're going to be working at, you know, minimum wage jobs for the rest of your life, and you're going to be living from paycheck to paycheck. And nobody wants to live that lifestyle. But we also have to realize that even though you may not want to go to college, take that risk. Take that risk. If you feel like that you can make whatever passion, like, let's say, like, well, how are we doing this? But we're doing this out of fun and stuff like that. But ultimately, if we, I guarantee you, if we both had the opportunity to make this into a career, we would take it in a heartbeat. I'll take it in a heartbeat. The Ron E apartment, Ron E house,
Ron E apartment.
But it's like, I feel like people are scared to take that risk.
Yeah.
Because one, they got that pressure from their parents.
Yeah.
That like, hey, if I don't do what they want me to do, like get that degree and stuff like that. Like for me, my mom since middle school has been on me about getting a degree. And it's not like I also don't want to get a degree and stuff like that. Of course, I want to get my degree. Yeah. That's why, like I said, I plan on going back to school, and if the opportunity comes for me to return to football, but in a position where I feel like I'll be successful at, I would gladly take that. So, but, you know, even now, it's kind of like, even if you do get your degree, that's not enough. That's no longer enough anymore. This isn't like the early 2000s or the 90s where all you need is your bachelor's degree or just the regular 4 years. You can get the best job. There's some jobs where it's like you need your master's degree, or you need like six years of school just to get the job that you could have got 10 years ago with just your bachelor's degree.
Exactly, man.
So, yeah, man. But moving on to professional athletes, and in the end, we'll talk about our own personal experiences with mental health. But, I mean, I think the mental health in professional sports has been moving along, but I think it's taken too long to where it's gotten to this point. Because now we're actually seeing athletes take their lives. And for example, you know, and I wish this was an example, but Demaryius Thomas, they found his body in a hotel room. I believe, I'm not sure. I'll put this little disclaimer with the facts and stuff like that in the video. But I believe he was drinking, and he kept calling his mom because he was like paranoid and stuff like that. And they found him dead in the hotel room. And that's something that you never want to hear. Because at the end of the day, first off, you never want your kid to, you know, kill himself, you know, all that type of stuff. But you never want to bury your kids. I don't want to bury my kids. I want to bury my parents, and I want my kids to bury me. So, but yeah, RIP to Demaryius Thomas. But it's sad because even though, like I said earlier, we are progressing, because you have athletes in the NBA like Kevin Love. Kevin Hart. Kevin Love, I met.
The day Kevin Hart's in the NBA, bro.
Oh, man. But, yeah, on a serious note, you have athletes like Kevin Love in the NBA who's actually open about sharing their own experiences with mental health. And with him, it's like, I just wish there was, like, he's a great player, but we need more athletes like a LeBron or like a KD that's actually open about mental health. And I'm not trying to like put down KD, LeBron, like, oh, you guys are, you know, the top of your platform. You're not bringing up mental. I'm not saying that, because at the end of the day, everybody, grown ass man, make their own decisions. But I just wish there was like more athletes who had more pull in the media to bring more light to the mental health, because I really feel like a lot of these athletes, and behind closed doors, suffer just how we suffer with our mental health.
Exactly. Yeah, they're human too, bro.
Exactly.
People don't see that.
That's the thing. They only see these people on Twitter or on Sundays or whenever the NBA is on and stuff like that. That's the only time, and we don't actually see them have that struggle.
Exactly.
Like, and the thing is, we also sometimes we may not see our own friends struggling. So, you know, you got athletes like Demaryius Thomas, like. When I think of Demaryius Thomas, I think of him going off and winning the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning. Mm-hmm. Like now, it's like he's the guy who suffered from CTE. He's the guy that they found found unalive in the hotel room. And you think of Hall of Famers like Junior Seau. And I watched the Football Life where they're saying like he's like he's a Hall of Famer. He was always like the first guy in it. He was always happy, 6 a.m. He's the loudest one. And he drives off a cliff. That's crazy. And like that's sad, and it's also insane when you actually think like, wow, he just like me. Not only is he just like me, but he's an NFL Hall of Famer, and he did that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like I'm blaming him or anything like that. Like like it was, but it's like that's crazy. So yeah, but. Going back to the Junior Seau, we have athletes who it's crazy, and we actually we actually see that realization that they suffer just like ours, just like us. So, but yeah, so
Tragic story, man.
um, going to us now, how I deal with it. So like for me, like sophomore year to junior year was like really some dark years. I'm not gonna lie, because it was like, I go from a public school to where nobody cared about football,
Yep.
stuff like that, to at the time they were ranked the number 6 team in the country, and it's like a Catholic environment. I'm surrounded by more white people and people higher class and stuff like that. So it's like it was a culture shock to me.
Yeah.
So, and it was like my grades were terrible. I think the first quarter of me being at the mat, they had like a 1.6.
1.6.
A 1.6.
Man.
And I don't know how, but I was so confused. I was like, what am I doing wrong? Because I did the same exact thing where I'm getting like a 4.0 at Stone.
Yeah.
And I come here and I get like a 1.6. And my mom was crazy. I remember it. My mom used to tell me, an A here when she met at Stone, an A here is a C at DeMatha.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's true.
It was
that's
crazy,
but for you.
Yeah, but nah, I mean, I was really going through dark times and stuff like that, because not only did I feel like really alone, because I was a whole new school, and yeah, you play with the football team, but you don't really know them at the time because you're just getting there. But it was some really dark times, and so recently, I believe in this past year, you guys know, but I actually went back to therapy and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And even though sometimes I didn't really like it because it was over the phone, it did benefit me a lot more, because it made me realize, wasn't the way to go. Because dealing with college and all that type of stuff, I finally got to college, but you start realizing that, man, this is a lot of stress.
It is a lot, man.
It's not only
it hits you. It hits you.
It hits you, and it's pressure. You feel like you got like 1,000 pounds on your back. So, but yeah, I definitely support therapy and being open about it. Like for me, I'll make another video, just about mental health, like just my own video. But I think therapy is the best way, and I don't really think closeting how you actually feel and not really being open about it is going to really help. That's just my thoughts about and my personal experience.
Yeah, man. I think for me, everything kind of went a little downhill. I would say probably my first semester on campus at college. Mm-hmm. That was my sophomore year. I didn't really know a lot of people. I'm an introvert. So obviously there was moments where I felt alone. I felt like I didn't really have nobody for real. Of course I have you guys. Yeah, but you guys are, you're only in Pennsylvania, and everybody and everybody got their own little friend group. Mm-hmm. So, and I just where I kind of had to rely on, religion, and I just prayed about it. I went to therapy. I only went to maybe 1 or 2 sessions, but I started noticing I started getting better though. I started just going out more and stuff like that. Got around the right people, and so for me it was just more religion kind of helped me out, and just I had to just stay true to myself and don't switch up. So, but yeah, that's just a little bit of my story. I don't want to get too in depth to it, but yeah, man.
Oh man, thank you for sharing, man. But so like I said, I'll always be a big mental health advocate. I know you are too, and big therapy advocate as well, because a lot of people, don't really have they feel like they can't really express themselves, because once they do, they feel vulnerable. So, and I used to feel the same way too, but I really do hope this video does allow people to actually inspire people to be like, hey, I'm gonna be good. There's other people just like me who going through the similar problems, if not the same problems.
Exactly, they're not alone.
Exactly. So, like I said, we're always gonna be open to talk about it and stuff like that. But yeah, good video. So
all right, man.
We're gonna wrap it up here. I'm pretty sure we'll be back talking about similar discussion, if anything like that. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. And see y'all in the next video.
All right, peace.